Tell us about the First There Foundation Gala that's happening on Saturday. What's it about?
So it's a celebration it's a celebration to bring all of us together, combat controllers. Usually every time combat controllers got together was to honor a fallen, which was terrible because it's bittersweet, right? You're seeing guys that you went to war with or you haven't seen in a few years, and all of a sudden you're standing over a flag draped casket, and I just couldn't stand that anymore. It's just every time I saw my friends was for a death. So the gala is about honoring those guys, bringing us together, checking in our families, our Gold Star families, and it's just a good celebration of us, and it's also a fundraiser because we need to raise funds to keep this foundation going.
There's a significance with the First There phrase.
Sure.
Break that down.
That's our motto. The combat control motto is First There. So I know that there's other branches that say they're the first ones to go in, but no. Anytime that there's a major engagement or any time where troops just can't get into the ground, the first guys they send is combat controllers because we can employ through land, sea, air. And we set up the runways. We make sure that we can land aircraft, whether it's cargo or personnel, drop zones, combat controllers there first. And then the rest of the people or the rest of the troops can come in. So we're literally the first ones on the ground. For example, Panama, combat controllers go in first, then the Rangers, and then everybody else comes in. Afghanistan, same thing. Combat controllers go in, assess the situation, make sure that we can get aircraft in to land, or set up a drop zone for other troops, the SEALs, the Rangers, the Green Berets, whoever we need equipment. Combat controllers are always first. And then most of the time we're the last ones out because we're the ones controlling air. During the Afghan war, we were doing 6-month deployments. I mean, sometimes they're a little shorter, but for the most part, when we're in full out war, 6 months, it just gives you that time to adjust to that environment and get some kind.
Why don't enough people know about combat controllers?
Yeah, I wish I knew. We had a motto of the quiet professionals ethos, which was great, and it's a good ethos to have. But as the war goes on and as guys get out, no one knows who we are. And for whatever reason, the Air Force has this thing where, even though we were the tip of the spear for the 22 years of fighting, it's almost they don't want to showcase that capability. It's not as you look at our commercials and stuff. It's always a very inclusive. They never really say the name. Some of the things we've done, even humanitarian missions, they never really say combat control. They say we've changed our name from Air Commandos, Special Tactics, Spec Warfare Airmen. For whatever reason, the Air Force is very reluctant to say combat control, even though it's not a secret team or anything like that. I mean, we exist. I mean, you can go to Google and look up combat control.
Tell us about some of the difficulties that combat controllers encounter when they come back home.
Sure. Along with no one knowing who we are. So, for example, I'll give you my story. I got out with a bachelor's degree. A couple Bronze Stars, one with Valor, and I said, well, the civilian world can't be that difficult, right? I was an operator. I've been all over the world. I've been in firefights. How hard could it be? And I give it to y'all. The civilian world is extremely difficult. It's the most difficult thing I've ever done compared to the military. Whether you get up in the morning, it's completely up to you. In the military, everything's very structured, where you gotta be, how you gotta look, how you can progress, how you can get paid more money, how it's a roadmap for you, and it's easy, you're on autopilot. In the civilian world, it's not like that. So when I got out, I would go to these, companies, especially here in San Antonio, because I'm from San Antonio. These companies like, we hire vets and, we're always helping American heroes type things. And the problem was that since no one knew who I was or what I did, when they would see my resume as a combat controller, the usual, thank you for your service, I have no clue what you did. The thing that I think the 2 years that you spin up to train, and then you get to your operational team, and then you train maybe another 6 to 8 months before you go to actual war, you get pretty desensitized. You know that you're about to do, and every young controller is ready to go back in there, right, and do their job. What I wasn't prepared for is survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is something that it's still pretty tough at times, especially Memorial Day or the anniversary of a teammate of mine being killed. It's I guess if you want to say that that's PTSD, but that's the hardest part of knowing that there was these great guys that you were with, and you suffered together through the pipeline, and then you went to war and you came back and he was just killed, and you got to just chalk it up to he was doing what he loved to do, and it was just his time. And survivor's guilt was definitely something that was pretty tough on me the entire, for a good 5-6 years of transitioning from the teams because no one really understands it. Yeah, so I think that's the PTSD part that's difficult.
Anything else that you want people to know?
I want them to Google combat control and find out what we've done. I said every major engagement that the U.S. Special Forces has been in, combat controller has been there. Mogadishu, the movie 12 Strongs, when guys were in horseback. I mean, Bart Decker, he was one of the original guys. There's pictures. If you look up Bart Decker, he's on a horse. He's with that team. They were dropping bombs, back when Afghanistan was just the Wild West. Captain Phillips, combat controller, was the first guy that shot the pirate, not the SEALs, as the movie shows. Bin Laden raid, there was a combat controller there. Haiti, when the big earthquake happened, combat controllers were there coordinating all the aircraft to land because the towers were gone. So part of our training is air traffic controls, and we're certified as air traffic controllers, so we can control aircraft without a radar, without a tower. And we just have that mental capacity to that fourth dimension, the air, and imagine then being in a firefight where you're part of the team, you're shooting and moving, but now you have aircraft circling like buzzards over this little section, waiting to kill bad guys, and you got to keep that all straight. So it's combat control is definitely a difficult job, but we do it all.